Hi guys, and welcome to live review number 17. We were planning on revisiting the East Coast IPA from Green King, but I struggled to find that beer. I couldn't even find a source for it, to be honest. But after talking to Dean, who of course is joining me once again for another live view, I think I should be able to pick up a bottle in the future. But yeah, so instead, we are looking at the Ghost Ship from Adnams. I'd say Adnams are one of those really reliable breweries.
Yeah, I agree with
And the one that you see a lot of them, you see a lot of their like specially brewed beers for Marks and Spencers, and I think they've done a couple of other supermarket beers for people. But the Ghost Ship is, from what I remember there was a big buzz about this a few years ago on BeerTube. A lot of people were talking about it, and I don't know. I'd never really. That my first time trying this was actually fairly recently. When I was supposed to be doing a review of it, but it just, I think I accidentally deleted the video before I put it on the computer. And that was the first time I'd had it. So when was the first time that you had this one, Dean? If you can remember.
I think I've had it quite a few times. I've reviewed it, but I've had it a few times off camera. Probably a couple of years ago since I've last had it. I know, and then you can get it in cans now as well. I watched. I think Danny McFadden said to John, he reviewed this quite recently as well, and he was a fan of it. Not too sure. I think is it their flagship beer?
I think so, because I think they've even got an app for it. I think they've like got a game on mobile phones dedicated to this beer. So I think it is their flagship. I mean,
It's got to be up there, and probably one of their most popular beers. I know their broadside's a pretty solid beer as well.
Yeah, it's those two that I see a lot together, and I've seen in supermarkets. But yeah, this is second time for me reviewing this. I can't. All I'm going to say is I remember enjoying it initially, but I can't remember any distinct flavors about it. I don't really want to remember it, so I can be as blind and as fresh as I can be on this. But it's got a really nice looking label. I'm not too sure if this has ever been redesigned or anything like that, but I imagine they'd have this sort of illustration. But I don't think they'd ever change that. But I'm sure I remember seeing it with slightly different artwork. I can't really remember, to be honest. But I like the Adnams bottles that they have with the little bulge at the bottom, and yeah, it's just a really nice, distinct looking beer, and it's got that sort of like iconic feel to it. Like you could recognize it from a mile off, sort of thing.
Yeah, like you said about them, they're very, very, very solid brewery.
Yeah.
Very consistent. Not mind-blowing beers, but very steady and easy going. I mean, when I spent a weekend Great Yarmouth, a while back, and there was a lot of their boozers. I sort of think they did Explorer on the pumps, and their Soul, which is a really low ABV pale ale, I think.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, Soul. It was Stalk, it might be called.
Ah, now Soulstar. That I'm sure I've heard that before.
Yeah.
But I think
it's like 2.8% or something.
Ah, okay. So proper sessioner. They also do the. Is it them who do the blood orange wheat beer for Marks and Spencers, or is that someone else?
No, yeah, it's them. They do that. They do quite a lot of M&S.
Yeah.
Blood orange wheat beer. They do that for them. They do quite a few. I think they do more bottle side than can side.
Yeah, definitely remember a lot more bottles, and I think most of the Adnams beers that I have had have actually been from some of the supermarket exclusive type deals. And I don't think I've ever had like a genuinely bad beer from them. It goes back to that consistency, not mind blowing, but always, yeah, I could probably drink that again, sort of thing. But yeah, so the Ghost Ship is actually a ghostly pale ale, but it's also described as a golden ale on, I think it was Rate Beer, and it's clocking in at 4.5%. I'll quickly read the little blurb on the back. So, inspired by the eerie wrecks of old smuggling ships during the Suffolk coast, this ghastly pale ale has good a certain. I'm not going to read all of that because I don't want to ruin it. But I think it's more along the lines of sort of like an American style, from what I remember.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm probably completely misremembering this, but I think that's why there was quite a buzz about it a few years ago, because the American hopped beers were starting to become a little bit more popular. I mean, I think stuff like Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale was established as like a, I don't know, what's the word, like a cult classic sort of beer for the UK market.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm just looking on their website at the moment now, and it's Pale Ale, Ryan Carroll.
Okay.
Blend of the American hop varieties. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I sort of, without getting into it, I sort of detect a slight inspiration from the likes of Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale, because that, and I'm sure American viewers would disagree with me, but that to me is like the quintessential, like American craft pale ale. Sort of like Anchor's got the lager.
Anchor, yeah.
And like
Sierra Nevada Anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think a lot of the UK brewers tried to not like replicate it, but do their own take on it. And we're seeing that now again with stuff like all these New England, Vermont, murky, hazy.
Everybody wants to mess up.
Yeah. So there's always like this, and that's what I like about beer, is like you'll always get people trying to do their take on a style, then do their take on a style, then a few years down the line someone else comes along and does their take on the style. And we were talking about this offline, about, again, it all seems to come to this sort of style of beer, but these Vermont IPAs. And we were talking about the latest Northern Monk one, which is now the most expensive one in cans. That don't get wrong, if I was to be offered it, I'd happily drink it. If it was on tap, I'd probably get a third of it. But I know now that there are so many breweries who do different styles of beer that are popular, that you're not going to be too far away from a similar and potentially better beer. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of breweries in the UK did with these pale ales, especially the more sort of real ale type breweries.
Yeah.
And fair play to them, because I think Adnams I don't think it's the oldest brewery, but it's definitely
one. You have to say St. Peter's has got to be that bin, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Green Kings, St. Peter's. I don't know.
Yeah. So they might not always do it to the standards that a lot of the craft sort of drinkers expect, but at least they're trying new ones. They're not just always stuck in the ways like, oh, we're just going to stick to these really traditional, bitters. Which there's nothing wrong with that if a brewery does that. I've got no
that's fine.
problem. But I always respect these like classic breweries, and even to the extent someone like Green King, when it's fundamentally to cash in, as opposed to be we're a forward finger brewery, but at least they are branching out and doing stuff. Doesn't always work, especially with a brewery like Green King. But I think you've got to respect that, and it's that argument that every beer has its place, sort of thing.
The guys at Adnams, along the same sort of lines as Green King, I suppose. I don't know that they actually brew a stout or a porter. Maybe they do sort of on cask locally, and maybe they have a dark beer. I've actually seen a dark bottle beer from Adnams, and you could read it to Green King. I mean, I know they brought them beers out, which I think they did a fantastic job doing. Brewery like this, maybe dip their toes and go down stout and porter route. We're trying.
Yeah. I'm definitely
involved in the market. Yeah,
and that's the perfect place to get those sort of smaller batch beers. Is doing like an exclusivity deal with like a Morrison's or Tesco's or whatever, and just if it doesn't work, you just carry on as normal. But
people would be definitely intrigued by it.
Yeah.
They have got a following, haven't they? Every brewery's got a bit of a following. No different from the Woodhorde, I'm guessing there's plenty of Adnams fans about.
Yeah, and to me, they're like the sort of like Shepherd Neames and
that area.
Buckcombe. These sorts of established names, but they still produce good beers, and they still try and do something a little bit different. But as we said, fantastic looking label. The cans look great as well, from what I remember. Nice label on the neck, and then you've got the Adnams crown, and then it's all housed in their own. I think this is a unique style to them, isn't it? This type of bottle. Don't think I've seen too many breweries with this bottle shape.
I think their pint glasses are like that as well, aren't they? Sort of like bumpy at the bottom.
Yeah, because I saw they do a gift pack of like you get 3 bottles of Ghost Ship. The beer's right underneath my nose. Couldn't remember the name of it. You get 3 bottles and you get a free glass. And I'm a sucker for those sorts of things, even if it's a beer that I'm not the biggest fan of. It's like if you get a free glass with it, sign me up.
Seals the deal.
Yeah. I mean, I was in Home and Bargains recently, going off topic again, and they had a big one of the like 1 litre dimpled steins, and I was like, "Oh, that looks good, £4." And then it was a Carlsberg Export one, like a big litre bottle of Carlsberg Export, and you're like thinking, at first you're like, "Oh crap, it's Carlsberg Export," but then but you get the glass for pretty much £4. And bacon, whatever. But then, like the reviewer inside says, "Well, I've not actually reviewed Carlsberg Export." And then you're like, "I'll get it another time." But anyway, if I'm gifted it, I'm gonna take it.
Fair enough, yeah.
So let's get this opened
Yeah.
and see what we get. Didn't get too much smoke on my bottle, but then
No, not great deal, mine.
mine's not really that chilled, to be honest. It's probably had about a couple of hours in the fridge, then lifted out about half an hour before we started.
No, mine hasn't seen the fridge. Spread out the covers on mine.
Yeah, I should expect pretty much clean as a whistle, crisp. Carbonation not too aggressive, but just enough.
Would you say medium levels?
I'd say so.
Yeah, mine's just a medium.
It's got a nice sort of like rusty copper amber colour. It's a little bit fainter than I thought it would be. It looks considerably darker on camera, but when I hold it up to light, it's not pale, but it's not as dark as I was expecting. And I've pretty much just got a lining of maybe slightly off white head. It's not produced a big head at all.
Glad going down, just leaving a bit of a lacing, really. Yeah, it looks decent, right?
Yep. Let's see what we got in the aroma. That's really quite hoppy, actually.
Yeah, poppy orange.
Yeah. It's got that sort of more like sweet citrus as opposed to like a sharp lemon or lime. I mean, you do slightly get that in the background, but it's got that sort of like pink grapefruit, nectarine sort of character to it.
Marmalade sort of whiff.
Yeah.
But yeah, lovely hoppy. That was really nice.
Yep. Did you say before what hops are in it?
Yeah. We've got rye, cara, citra, and then it says and a blend of other hop varieties.
Okay. Because I'm getting that again, going back to like Sierra Nevada, that Cascade hop. There's got to be a Cascade in there. It's like it's that one hop that I can pick out, but I'd never be able to properly describe it to you without it sounding.
I pulled down Simcoe. That one was Simcoe.
Yeah, and then you get like really weird notes from Simcoe, like cat litter and stuff, and it's. But this, I really like the aroma on this one.
It's very inviting whiff to it, and it's so that lovely hoppy full whiff coming in. I'm getting like a marmalade orange smell to it. It smells really decent, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. It's really quite bold without being overly hoppy. And then it's like very slight sweet malt character coming through, but it's all about those hops.
What's the date on your bottle, mate?
Date on mine is 30th of September 2018. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, same.
So I'm guessing a year's shelf life they put on.
Where'd you get yours from? Tesco?
No, I got mine from Asda. And I made a point to get one of the bottles with the like promotional thing that they sometimes put on.
Oh, the little cardboard thing on the sleeve.
Because I saw that they started to promote that online and stuff, and my thinking was that must be a fresher bottle. I mean, I didn't look at the other bottles that were there that didn't have it on, so it completely throws that theory out the way. But I was like, yeah, that's got to be a fresh one.
There's only two bottles on Tesco. Because I was looking around and I thought it was a bit of a balls ache to find this beer. I was going around trying to find it. I mean, the local bottle shop news agents will have it because I know he's got some Adnams in there. But when you go shit, mate, no. And you've got to explore in Broadside. Oh, okay. So I ended up getting Tesco's last two bottles because I thought I might have to sort of get a 4-pack of cans to do the review with.
Yeah.
But luckily, yeah, I managed to get one.
Yeah, even after a few minutes and it's settled in a glass, it's that hoppiness and it's just so nice and inviting. Anyway, let's give it a taste. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, mate. Do, mate.
Yeah. It's got that thing about some of these like American hopped real ale, pale ales and IPAs. You get that American hop character, but then you get that like crisp golden malt character coming through on the back end, and that ever so slight earthiness about it.
It's beautiful, soft mouthfeel.
Yeah. Carbonation not too aggressive. It's got a bold enough body to carry all those hoppy flavours without it being too heavy or gassy.
Very refreshing.
Oh yeah, very crisp.
Very crisp, yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of grapefruit in there. Not too much. It's not sort of taking the bit away from it, but it's just on the back end that little bit of bitterness it's got in there. Like lemon's coming through quite a lot for me.
It's a lot less sweet on the actual palate compared to the aroma, I find.
I'd be quite happy to session this, to be honest, if I saw it in one of my locals. If I was lucky enough to see a beer like this in one of my locals.
Yeah.
Badly have a few pints of this.
Yeah, I mean that 4-pack of cans that they do. Yeah, just pick it up as you do your shopping, put it in. Job's done. You've got 4 really good beers. I mean, it's not the most exciting pale ale or anything like that, especially in this climate now with everyone doing pale ales and IPAs. But you could because I think this was, I'm sure on Untapped this says was added on 2010. I could imagine this being, it would take you back a bit more than it would do now.
Yeah.
For 2010.
Yeah.
But it's still got enough there for it to be like a relevant beer now. Without it like trying to be like a showboat of a beer. Pardon the pun.
Well, I mean, going back to the name of the beer, picking the 4-pack up, actually putting, which I think is a pretty good film anyway, Ghost Ship.
Was that the one with Gabriel Byrne?
That's the one, yeah. Quite like that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Getting 4 cans of that, putting that on and just switching off, and you just drink them and job done for me. Not nice, complete.
Yeah. And it's one of those beers that you could drink on its own and enjoy it. But at the same time, I think there's flavours in there that would go well with like curry, pizza, burger. I like that a lot. One thing that I get sort of put off with the like real ale brewery pale ales is they tend to be a little bit too thin. I don't know if you found that, where like you get that like initial hoppiness, but then it subsides straight away, and you only get it again when you take that first swig, that first flavour when it's on the front of your tongue. But this actually, it's flavoursome from the start to the finish. It's got a nice, slightly lingering bit. Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit more bitter than I was expecting it to be, which is nice. And it doesn't become too IBUs. Oof.
Yeah, how many IBUs do you reckon are in this roughly? It's got to be like, what did you say, about 40?
Yeah,
30,
I was thinking
40?
spot on 40 for me.
Just,
I mean,
it's there, isn't it? It's not whacking your face off or anything like that, but it's adjusting a hoppiness to it, and it lingers. Yeah, from to finish, that sort of little hoppy twang, it does last, and when you have it to take in your next sip.
A malty backbone and a lemon and lime aroma. Didn't get much lemon and lime on the aroma, but I got a lot of lime on the flavour. That's, to me, is the most predominant citrus character coming through.
I got like an orange on the nose, but I'm getting more lemon on taste, you know.
Yeah. It's even nicer than I remember it, like than I had it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I remember enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it a little bit more now, actually.
I've got no issues with it at all, to be honest. I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, it's one of those beers that could easily become a regular beer to drink. To be honest, 4.5%. It's not going to cause too much trouble, especially if you only buy like a 4-pack of it. And you know, if you're doing something like a hangout, watching a film, got family or friends over, or you just want to take a few casual beers to someone's house, it fits in that category for me.
It fits that bill, yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see what this actually tastes like on something like cask, and even to see if the cans would add anything to it.
I thought it was pretty good value as well, because I think it was just over £4 for 4 cans.
And they're in are they the 440 cans or the 500?
500, I think.
500. Yeah, you can't go wrong. No, and I know I think we make this point every time we do one of these like supermarket beers, but for that price, I'd say you're getting a lot for the money. It's not just like, you know, Tesco's own best bitter, like 4 cans for £2 sort of thing, and then you know, one of the crates of like Carling 2 for £16.
That's it. About this beer.
No.
It's a quality tasting beer, you know. You said at the beginning of the review, Adnams, you know, they've got a good reputation, I think, within the real ale world. You know, I've never heard anybody slag them off or say that, you know, they make poor beers. you know,
Yeah,
it's a
they're
nice
always
straightforward.
a well-respected name.
Mm,
You
yeah,
know,
it's
because
a
a lot
different
of
name.
people will like slag off Marston's, sometimes rightly so, because I've had some shitty beers that have been
Yeah.
brewed by Marston's or one of the breweries that they own. And then Green King, I've had quite a bit more shitty beers from Green King, but yeah, it sort of like gets in the middle, just never in your face with their beers or
No,
advertising or whatever. Um, but you know when you come across an Adnams beer that you've never tried before, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're getting a very solid drinking experience. And I think this could actually be, even though there's still quite a fair few of their beers, even the more highly regarded ones, I think this is probably one of the best Adnams beers that I've had, to be honest.
yeah. I do like the smell of chugging a dry hop lager. But as well, that became a pretty for me a go-to chuggy beer. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I was buying with a weekly basis for a while, and I just forgot all about it. I've seen it about again. I have purchased it, but that was a pretty for a lager. That was a pretty solid, well-made beer. But from a real ale company making a lager, I was quite impressed with that.
Was that one of their own beers or one of the ones that they like brewed for a supermarket? Because
No, it was their own brand.
it's
Yeah, it
their
wasn't.
own.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if they do a lager for M&S. I think that's another brewery that does that. I think that might be St. Austell laid back lager. It could be.
Yeah,
I don't think they do a lager, but they're triple opt lager. That's pretty good. That is. That's worth a go.
I'll have to look out for that. But yeah, it's one of those breweries that initially you'd see their beers on a shelf, and the reviewer comes into play whenever I'm buying beer, even if I'm setting out
Yeah.
to just buy beer to enjoy for like whatever I'm doing that night or something. But then I'll always be like, oh, I've not seen that beer before. I'll pick that up. And then you see like the regular beers. They're like, I've only just got round to picking myself up like a bottle of Feakston's Old Peculiar to review, even though it's one that I've drank shit tons of times.
Yeah, that's an old one. I need to look at. Yeah.
But it's like usually I'll be like, yeah, I'll buy you later. I can get you in 3 weeks' time, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you start to drink more of different breweries, and you find yourself next time you go shopping, instead of like just walking past them and going, yeah, I can wait a few weeks. I'm more inclined when I see Adnams now, a beer that I've not had before, to like pick 2 or 3 of this, because I always go for the deals when I'm in the supermarkets.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one I'd happily just pick up an extra bottle just to enjoy myself, or probably next time I say I'll probably opt for the 4-pack of the cans, to be honest, because it's just, I'm not going to say it's no frills, because that would be really underselling it, but there's something quite simple and satisfying about it, if that makes sense. You know, I'm not looking to be bombarded with tropical flavors, or on the other end of the spectrum, like getting bombarded with like resiny, piney notes. It's nice every now and then just to have a simple, hoppy pale ale without it being.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% behind you on that statement, mate. you yourself, you've got a wide range of drinking different types of beer, and the really hot forward craft beers, where you've got to think sometimes the guys that are going into the supermarkets and being dragged around with their missus on a weekly basis that have tried craft beer before probably buy this on a weekly basis and they feel the bits with it. And I can get where they're coming from with that. And sometimes that is all you need. Sometimes you don't need to be fucking bombarded. As reviewers, it's nice to go back to to have a craft beer from time to time, and then go back to beers like this, but still appreciate them for what they are, and not sort of turn back on them.
Yeah, and I think this recipe, you could probably add so much to it, and it would become, like a really flavoursome. It could, get into that sort of market. But at the same time, it's like, why would you just brew a different beer and do that? You don't. If Adnams are watching, and I don't know if you've got intentions to ever change it, but just leave this recipe alone. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't need to evolve. It doesn't need to have the hops swapped around. It's just a very simple, well-made, and I'm guessing for its time, quite an exciting beer. But as it is now, it's more than just a solid beer, if that makes sense. And I'm hard pressed to think of like an American hopped real ale, pale ale that could stand toe to toe with it. And I'm sure there are loads. I'm sure this brewery here's got one, this brewery there's got one, but from my experience, it's the simplicity of it that I just really, really like with this one. And I think that's what a lot of brewers tend to forget. I mean, don't get me wrong, brewing should always be an evolving thing, and you should always be trying new things and new styles. And we've got this established recipe, we could tinker with this, tinker with that. I love all that sort of stuff. I think that's how the industry develops. But I like the fact that there are beers like this that are just, it's just an American hopped pale ale. Simple. Just enjoy it, sort of thing. And I'd imagine that there's a lot of home brewers who have tried to brew Adnams Ghost Ship, or have done a similar recipe to this one, or a recipe based off the fundamentals of it.
Clone it, yeah. It's something when you've got home brewers wanting to clone a beer like this.
Yeah, I'm actually really, even though again I only drank it a couple of weeks ago, but I think because there've been a few beers in between then. But I'm very pleasantly surprised with this one. And I don't think we've actually had a bad beer on any of these live reviews, have we? We've not. We've had some that have been a little bit underwhelming, but nothing like I'd never drink that again.
I don't think we had the freshest Blue Ribbon, did we?
No, that's true.
Yeah. I don't think it would have made much of a difference, even if it was sort of like a date on them. Because it's just that's it is what it is.
Oh,
We've had a good run actually of beers that you did to review. I can't think off the top of my head. No, I don't think we missed anything, have we?
No, I don't think so. I think the closest thing we've had to it, like a disappointment, would be the Dead Pony Club. Because I remember there was some not harsh things to say about the beer, but it was just like a shadow of what it used to be. But quickly going back to Blue Ribbon, I saw that there's like a restaurant in Manchester that does. They've actually got Blue Ribbon on tap.
On tap.
Yeah, they've actually got like a tap line of Blue Ribbon. I think it's like because I'm seeing that Rob's commenting. So Rob, if you are watching this because you commented, obviously, which I'll read the comments in a minute. But do you know what restaurant or bar it is in Manchester that does it? I think it's like an American diner sort of thing, or like a pizza place. But they're actually like promoting. Oh, we've got Blue Ribbon on tap, and it's like
get your arse in here and have it.
Yeah, Manchester's got Alphabet, Cloudwater, all of these fantastic craft breweries. It's like, what? Looking forward to having some of that Blue Ribbon on tap.
Blue Ribbon sitting right in the middle.
Yeah. Which the stupid part of me is like thinking, shit, I need a trip to Manchester soon so I can try Blue Ribbon on tap. And it's like, sack off Cafe Behemoth, where they've got all these like farmhouse ales and
I want to sign a Blue Ribbon and I want it now.
Yeah. I want my pizza, I want my Blue Ribbon, then I'll start drinking all this sort of stuff. But so I'll quickly go through the comments and then we'll do a little bit of a rating and then look through the scores and give final thoughts and stuff. So, first comment of the day was from Christoph, El Degustation. First time I had this beer 2 years ago, I really enjoyed it. It is a lovely little beer. Cheers for commenting, Christoph. Hope you're doing well. Then Harry, who's finally got his internet back, wrote start offensive comments. Yeah, because he said he'd write offensive comments on the video. Then we've got our good friend over in Austria, Katzenfett, who says cheers, one hop to rule them all. Actually, that's a good question. What would you say at this point in time is your favourite hop if you could pinpoint one?
Citra, Cascade.
Yeah, I think Cascade's mine.
There's so many new ones popping up as well, though, isn't there?
Mosaic's been
all the Brazilian ones. Pardon?
The Mosaic, that's been a nice one. I've been picking up a lot of new beers. Then Harry writes Carling, 2 for £6, pricey. Yeah, that's £6 too pricey.
Yeah.
Then we've got a friend over in Stateside, Beer by Numbers. Hello to you, my good friend. Sounds pretty tasty, guys. It damn was. Then Harry says, random fact, pirates often wore eye patches to make one of their eyes more accustomed to the dark below deck, not just because someone got a bit stabby in their eye. Always good to know. So we've missed his words of wisdom on YouTube. Then in relation to your comments on the dry hop lager from them is solid. So I'm going to have a look out for that if it's...
Yeah, check it out, mate. I think you'll enjoy it. If you appreciate a decent lager, I think you'll enjoy it yourself.
Oh, what did I have today? I had a hoppy pilsner from Sweden, which I found in Home and Bargains for 69p in a can, and it suffered from that first like sip. Wow, it's really nice. but then the aftertaste settles in, as if there's like loads of adjuncts in there. And then, I mean, I didn't pick up on it at first, but on the can it said like brewed and bottled by Carlsberg, Sweden. So I was like, okay, well, there we go. But for 69p, it's worth a punt.
You got to try it.
Yeah, I think any beer at 69p is definitely worth a go for different reasons. Then, yeah. Actually, probably not too far off. Then Cats and Fet writes Beer by Numbers. Hey, hello there. Nice to catch you live. Love your stuff. As do I. I like the beer facts that you do, Beer by Numbers. And if anybody's watching this still, everyone mentioned, you should look them up on YouTube. Then Harry says, Jack brands something or other dry hopped lager. Is that still Adnams or?
Yeah, it's there. Like I don't know if it's a craft side to it.
Oh, is that like where it's almost like ancient paintings and carvings on the artwork?
Yeah. All dirty stuff.
Yeah. Don't think I've ever had any of that line.
I think if Rob's still watching, I think he did an Earl Grey lager or something like that from as well.
That sounds interesting.
Mm.
Then Brewed by Numbers says, love the pirate facts. We all do. Like I said, always good to have Harry's input. And then in reply to Cats and Vet, thanks so much. Love your brew vids. Hope to be somewhere near your level someday. Then Harry says, I'm full of them. Family were sailors / pirates. I'll stop reading like the like personal response comments because that's quite pointless now. But Craig from Kent Beer Reviews. Hi guys, welcome back, Harry. Hi Craig, hope you're doing well. Then of course Rob chimes in. Hey up, sexy pants. Rito, hope you're doing well. 4 people watching, and you have to look at the chat. YouTube rules from Cats and Fet. Yeah, I'm terrible at keeping up with comments, as you can clearly see. And then Rob says, this was the first UK beer to use Citra. I'd imagine that's the beer that he's talking to. So, yeah, it's just got that sort of like, it's an important beer aspect to it, as well as it still being a tasty beer. So I don't know, when you think of that, I'd love to have tried this when it first got released in 2010. I don't know, there's just something.
Put a bit of hype around. I wasn't really sort of thinking about things back then, but there was a bit of a hype to it when it come out. Then it anyway, well.
Yep. Then there's a little bit of banter between Harry, Craig, and Rob. Then we've got PBR. Blue Ribbon is a chocolate-covered wafer biscuit. I thought that was Blue Riband, the biscuit. Because I was really trying to stop myself from saying Blue Riband. And Rob asks, are we having a hangout after this? If people are around, I've got an event ready to go if anybody wants to join, but we'll talk about that when it comes to it. So, yeah, that's the comments very clumsily caught up with. So, final thoughts on the beer, even though I think we've pretty much come to the same conclusion.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'll match that score. definitely.
You know,
Yeah.
good price point. Some people.
Yeah, I'll definitely be drinking that again.
Hold off, but that's because I wanted to do it for this. If we weren't reviewing it.
Oh yeah, you'd see it everywhere you went. Yeah, it's just the way it is. It's like I've not seen Young's Double Chocolate Stout since we were going to review it.
No, I haven't
And
seen it.
again, that's the beer that I saw in every conceivable place that I would go to. Even when I wasn't looking for other beers, it'd just be there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just how it is, though, isn't it? It always goes like that. You want to grab a beer and you just can't fucking find it.
Yeah. Very quickly, I've seen Rob's kicking off in the comments. Well, first off, got a pun from Craig. You're going overboard with this review. And Rob says, can't believe you passed over my big cock and anal sex comments. Because this is a PG show, Rob, so fuck off. But yeah, so I'll quickly, on that note, I'll quickly read the usual suspects in terms of the scores. So Rate Beer gives this 58 overall with 93 for style. Work that one out. Classic Rate Beer. And that comes from 350 ratings, and the weighted average is 3.275 out of 5. So those scores just don't even, to me, correlate properly.
Fucking just numbers chucked in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it just doesn't work. They've like got multiple systems just to rate that one beer. Anyway, moving on to Untapped, 3.56 out of 5 from 27,119 ratings. And then Beer Advocate gives it 3.81 out of 5, which comes from 116 ratings. There have been 34 reviews on the website, and the ranking of the beer, which I think is a new thing that they've added. So this is apparently the 16,467th best beer on Beer Advocate. I think that's worthy enough to actually put on the labels from now on.
Suppose would that be like how Joan Collins was ranked in like the porn?
Yeah. On the Amazon porn bestsellers list. But yeah, even though it's a high number, considering how many beers there are in the world, I wouldn't say that's too bad.
Yeah.
To be the 16,000th, whatever, best beer in the world. So, yeah, pretty much demolished that beer way too quickly.
Mine was gone.
So I shall wrap it up there. Thank you as always for Dean for joining me. And of course, not too sure what we'll be reviewing next time, but we'll come up with something. There's so much around us now. But yeah, once again, big thank you to Dean, my co-host, and big thank you to everyone who's watched. Big thank you to the comments. Even if Rob soured the comments with his absolutely offensive and disgusting language. But no, seriously, anybody mentioned on this video should be sub to. If I remember, I'll add everyone's links down below who commented, and of course Dean's. Well, mind you, Dean's links are already down below. And just as we're about to go, Thomas McCarthy says hi. Hi, Thomas.
You're right, Thomas.
Hope you enjoyed the post stream. But yeah, another enjoyable hangout, another enjoyable beer. And yeah, maybe one day we'll actually have a god awful beer to drink. That'd be interesting.
I'm sure we can find one.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, there will probably be a live hangout. Could be in 10 minutes, could be in half an hour. I'm not too sure, but keep your eyes peeled. And yeah, thank you all for watching. And hopefully we shall see you next time for another live review. See you guys later.
Cheers.